and Western other parts of the world students, they also need to learn the Tibetan Buddhism, Tibetan way. Then our side also, we have to learn the like Western point of view, which can suitable for us, That's why Rinpoche think in the end, we all work together and then we can benefit for next generation. That's why he want to have this institute. It's not like outside, like you have a school and lay institute. Name it same institute, but different meaning. This institute should help for internal institute. What you have outside education institute, it's out institute. This is a Buddhist institute. You have to look inside.
The Rigpe Dorje Institute building, which we're in, was conceived by Jamgon Kongtrul Rinpoche III as a vast project. The original concept included the idea of a matriculated program where students would come and do 2 terms of study, but then it would also include during the off seasons 1 month or 3-week programs where a narrower group of people would come to do very intense study. Programs we talked about was like a monastic gathering of all of the monastics Buddhist monastics from all over the world who could come, be with each other, discuss the problems of being a monastic and studies of Vinaya. But there would be other intense programs like that. He envisioned that there would be a Tibetan medical college, that it would be ecumenical, so that all of the 4 Buddhist Tibetan lineages would be involved, but even there would be a broader representation of Christians, Jews, Muslims, whatever. He did not want it to be his place. He wanted it to be a teaching place of the Kagyu lineage.
I myself, I always work with him. I'm more like administration. When his lifetime, almost like I am always with him. I knew that what he have a wish, what he want to do. But I always think that it's impossible to build this big building, but which he have a wish. But one day I asked Rinpoche, it's look like very big project where you will get money. But he told me that one day something can happen, Then that's what he say. After he passed away, we are very fortunate that from America there are Children Foundation who take over this project, because I believe that they really have a very good connection with Jamgon Rinpoche. They think Jamgon Rinpoche have a very good project, then they say they will take over this. Today what you see is their help. Then I believe Rinpoche say one day something can happen. Is really today what you see is happening.
Originally I was introduced to the project in New York City. I had gone to see Jamgon Kongtrul because I was planning to go into retreat, 3-year retreat, and I had only taken preliminary vows and was asking about taking additional vows. And after the interview, he said, well, you make drawings. And I said, yes. And he said, well, I want to build building. Could you make drawing for me? And then he said, well, but I don't have the information. Maybe we can get together on Sunday. And I came on Sunday and he didn't have the information. And a couple of weeks later when I took my vows, after I took my vows, I asked him, well, did you want me to do something about the building? And he said, well, I don't have the information. And I said, well, I'm going on retreat in Europe. If you're going to be in Europe, I could meet you in Europe. And he said, no, I'm not going to be in Europe. And I said, well, I'm going out to the West Coast next week. If you're going to be there, I could meet you there. And he said, no. And then I finally, in exasperation, said, look, I'll go anywhere in the world, wherever you want. And he said, oh, would you go to India? I was only going to come for a month. And I had, you can't design a building in a month. Actually, we were only going to work on it a month, but we ended up traveling for a couple of months. And I kept encouraging him, let's talk about the project, because that way when we get to Rimtech, we'll have a start. I'll have thought about it and we'll know about it. And no matter how often I tried to initiate a conversation, it just would never happen. And then we got to Rimtech, and there was no real program, but I knew he wanted a library and a shrine room, a big shrine room, and classrooms. So I made some paper cutouts of how much space we needed, and I went and I said, well, how do you want to organize it? I don't know anything about institutes. And he said, no, you first. And I had thought about it, obviously. But something magical happened in that meeting, because I mean, my image, a version of it is that he knew that I wanted to please him. He was my teacher, and I wanted to please him. So for a few weeks, 3-4 weeks, we worked quite intensely together. And I mean, for somebody, he had no training, and this is a very complicated building. Every floor is different. So and we were playing with heights, ceiling heights and floor heights and whatever. And at some point I said, look, we've been changing things very quickly, and maybe it would be good if I spent a month or so just bringing it together and making sure everything really works. And I came here to Nepal. The building at that time was slated to be built in Sarnath, India. Somebody came along and offered to raise the money to build a building in India. And we went to the site, and there were all kinds of problems. So Rinpoche decided, well, maybe we should not build here, and we'll go to Nepal. He was building the retreat center here, what is now the monastery. So we came to Nepal, we spent a couple of weeks, and I pointed out to him that, look, there is something magical about the site where the retreat center is. When he would come here and spend a few days here, and then he'd come back to Rimtech, he would be glowing like a teenager in love. I mean, it was really something magical. I said, why don't we build there? We have a piece of land and whatever, and we can buy additional land. And that's what we decided to do. And we located the building. At first I had told him, in Sarnath, India, it's flat land. Now we're on the top of a hill. We'll have to redesign the building. And I pointed out, well, look, maybe what we'll do is we'll build a big stone pedestal, make it flat, and then we'll build a building on top of it. And then he had to go to Rimtech for a few, less than 2 weeks. And I hadn't been home in quite a while, so I decided to go home for 12 days. And while I was home, he died in the automobile accident. And we thought the project was finished. I mean, nobody else would have the vision. There would be no way to raise that kind of money. So for years, we just forgot about it. And then miraculously, donors arrived from no place. I mean, not that we went out and seduced donors, they just came. Which is true of so much of what has happened here at Pullahari and what has happened with this building. I mean, my feeling is that what's happened here, things happen well. Pullahari, whole magic of Pullahari being built when we didn't have a teacher to raise money. I mean, people would just show up and offer us money. So there's a certain quality of magic about the whole process